Okay, if you can see me, this is maddening, people. I'm very embarrassed about this. So I'm going to hold up and see if I can get this going. This one's live. Let's send a link. Okay, and here's the link to the show. I don't even know if you guys are going to get this because that's the old link. We'll see what happens. Okay, some of you figured it out. That's fantastic. Hello. And I got to do this whole thing over again. Holy shit. This is embarrassing. Anyway, guys, this is the pre-intro, so at least you'll get to see the real show in just a second. God. Killing me. Killing me. Just killing me. Anyway, I see some of you are figuring it out. I feel really bad now. So, am I getting Colorado? That's a good question. And is Rumble working? Rumble should be working. Maybe. Let's see. Because Rumble does what YouTube used to do. When if you dropped a stream and you restart, you'd start in the same place. Yeah, there's me. Let me see if that's me talking. Working. Yes, it is. Okay, so anyway. Tall person, I did. That's on Rumble. I did. I'll get to that and all this stuff here in a second. Let's just I have to take the whole show off I have to start this over. God bless America. This is amazingly bad. This is amazingly bad. I'm going to just take this, copy it, delete the tweet, and redo it. Let's do that. Okay, there's that. Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. Hopefully the links work. I don't even know if the links will work. We'll see. And we'll take the new link, which is right here. Copy, and we'll change that. Wow, this was not the desired effect today. But, sometimes you just gotta get through some stuff, right? Change that. Hit this. Hit that. Rumble's the same. And oh my gosh, it even takes out the. Okay, let's fix that. All right. Poof. Let's try that now. Anyway, how about I play the intro and we get this thing started? How's that sound? Should we just do that? Because everything's messed up now. So, Johnny, do me a favor. Play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Yeah, that's me. Right here. Stop. Thank you. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. Third try's a charm. Let's see if I can. I got to fix some things over here on the tube thing here. My name's Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where sometimes things just don't go as planned. And when you go and do something before your show that you're probably not normally doing, that's what happens. And so here I am, the one that you love, asking for another day. In the immortal words of Air Supply, the greatest band on the planet ever, of all times ever. It is Tuesday, the 20th of December, 2023, and it is a lovely day out there, and it's not so lovely where I'm at, but I am over it. Let's get started with the show, but first we'll say hi to everybody, and as you can see, the theme here is the Colorado Christmas, because Christmas came early for some of those people who just love the former president of the United States. I'm just saying. And we'll talk about that. There's everything on the internet right now is about that. There's a lot of other stuff going on, which I have a few other things open, but that's the main topic today. Mainly, not just, well, I should say not the only thing though. There's everything, a lot of things I'm talking about today have to do with things happening in courts. So there's some interesting stuff going on. Real quick though, let me thank you, tall person, over on Rumble, dropping a deuce in the Rumble rants, saying happy cathode ray tube day. So if you're into radios and whatnot, happy cathode ray tube day. That's easy for me to say. Please, I need to get my face off the screen there. There we go. Why is that? Oh, that's the Rumble. And so I want to be in the studio. What is going on here? Why? Good Lord. I can't get to. I just want to be in the studio here. It's not working. Everything's messed up. I don't even know how I'm going to end the show. I don't want that. I want it to be. Okay, well, I'll have to figure that out later. Anyway, welcome to the show. First and thank you, Gunfox61, dropping a Hamilton in the tip jars. And this bell's for a tall person. Thank you for dropping the deuce. And then I also got a bell for Gunfox61. And Gunfox61, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar. Breaking news out New York. Oh, dude. Okay, that's definitely going to make the the links today. If where's it going? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Holy smokes. Billion. I'll drop that just before we get into the main topic today, because that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm distracted by all my mess ups, and for whatever reason, why is the chat over here even changed how I see it, and it's hard to read now. So we'll get this all figured out eventually. Anyway, this show is not normally this bad if you're not here on the normal. And thank you for all the people tweeting out the show, even if you end up tweeting out the wrong links because of my issues. Because I definitely have issues today. So anyway, thanks for being here. I gotta go. I gotta get this show started. First in chat over at Rumble's Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Also, good morning to tall person Mike Savage, Blarg, and is that everyone on Rumble? I mean, there's other people watching on Rumble. Looks like it says 12, which I'm one of them. Thanks for watching on Rumble if you're there. This is your first time, I'm sorry. This is how sometimes things happen when you have a boomer doing the show. On YouTube, first in chat is Avocados Diablo, still gets the bell. Even though we did it 4 times or however many times that worked. Why is that show? Oh, that's because it's Rumble. And then also, why is I can't even get to goddamn blasted studio. What the hell? Is that it? No. This is I have no idea why this is happening. This is maddening. I can't get into my studio. It won't let me in. Oh, I know. Here we go. We'll go under go live. Aha! There we go. Now I'm in the right spot. Okay. So let's say hi to the people on YouTube. I do renew pop-out chat. Now I can read it. There we go. I can't read the chat very well when I try to keep them separate so I can read them, but when they're both in white background, it's hard to read it all. All right, so where were we? besides floundering. Okay, so first the chat is Adam Costello. We got that. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Gunfox61. Boomer Vision brought to you by the American company. American-made, mob-approved, and by Chuck knives for all your stabbing needs, and by Joker's Wild for all your card jacks. Yes, thank you. Those are some of the more common sponsors to the show. Good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Jen T, Maxie, Tyler F, Don Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man, Kingslayer, Damocles, I see you too, Lord Stanhope, the Tack Alpaca, JB's in the house, another guy V, Tall Person, what's up? Good morning, Lord Stanhope, Simon Wolfwood, Furry Kitten, what's up? Tex AG, 007. Good morning also to Tire Alexander, the Gentleman Lich. I had to do at least one. Okay. Who else is here? Is that everybody? I think it kind of is. And if you, and AWOL's in the house. Welcome back, AWOL. And also, number one is here. So there you go. Shall we talk about what's happening in the world? I mean, that's what we normally do here. I'm not normally floundering this bad. Now I am in. Now this is something that just popped up. I am curious what's happening here because the Daily Krasenstein's coming early today. Okay, coming out early. I need to fix something here too. See, when you're stuck in La La Land, there we go. I just happened to open up Twitter, and Ed Krasenstein seems to be featuring Laura Loomer's somebody's OnlyFans account. Laura Loomer did this because that's not Laura Loomer's OnlyFans account. So, Ed Krasenstein, what does having an OnlyFans account have to do with anything to do with being a journalist? If an adult wants to make money selling photos and videos of themselves to other adults, who cares? It doesn't mean you can't also be a good something else just because you use OnlyFans. It doesn't mean you're a poser. Whatever happened to freedom? Because Laura Loomer, apparently, is featuring. Catch me on InfoWars, the Owen Schroyer, at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be discussing my latest bombshell report about the Politico prostitute at OnlyFans, whore Jacqueline Sweet, who posed as a journalist to write 36 hit pieces about Santos. Who cares? I don't care. I thought they were saying Laura Loomer had an OnlyFans account, and I would have laughed my freaking ass off. Good morning, Steve Des. Or Steve DS, I should say. Okay, never mind. That wasn't important. Let's get into the news. What's trending? By the way, it is Hump Day, and I figured I'd just throw you a little festive Hump Day activity onto the screen. Happy Hump Day, everybody. It's Wednesday. And, now here's my caveat. You have to be very careful on Hump Day on Twitter if you go on the Hump Day trending topic on the daily, because it's a lot of body parts get shown on Hump Day. So I had to pick one out. I thought this was festive with Santa and the people dressed as elves, and there's an actual camel with the hump. So happy Hump Day. There's your Hump Day festivities for the day. All trending though, just a couple distractions. Kia Center is trending. Apparently, the Orlando Magic have their arena used to be called what it used to be called, the Amway Center, a good American company. Amway Center is now known as the Kia Center. And so apparently it's the new home of the Orlando Magic. Apparently Kia is a big sponsor of Orlando Magic, and they have this big old corner piece there that says Kia, that really weird Kia logo, and even the C is kind of missing. So I guess that's the new place where the Orlando Magic plays. Now, I don't know why I pulled that one up. That's not normally, this isn't a sports channel. I just found it interesting that Amway is no longer the sponsor of the arena in Orlando. Yeah, is Amway still a thing? That's what I was wondering too. Amway, I think Amway's still a thing, but I think it's mostly online. I don't think anyone sells it because Amway used to like to be the big, multi-level marketing company, and they sold you products that smelled just like the colognes, and they had the cleaning products that were just like the other cleaning products. And I don't know, their stuff was crap, but a lot of people sold it. Good morning, Reaction Puerto Rico. We had a great conversation yesterday after the show. So anyway, also, now this is actual news, and this is kind of sad news. Apparently, Philly's ABC team, the station's helicopter crash while on assignment last night. Both the pilot and the photographer were killed. That's kind of sad. Condolences to our colleagues at Channel 6 on the loss of their Action News team members in a helicopter crash in New Jersey last night. Pilot and photojournalists were aboard when Chopper 6 crashed after 8 p.m. in Wharton State Forest while coming back from an assignment near the shore. So that's some sad news. That's trending this morning. A couple. I'll drop one of the articles, the New York Post article on that. And there's not a whole lot of details other than it crashed in the forest on the way back from a story they were doing on the Jersey Shore. Also trending this morning. Well, let's just get into it because almost half of the trending topics this morning are related to the news in Colorado. And if you haven't heard, well, I don't know how you haven't heard because it was all over the place. What happened? Well, here, I can check it out. Should we go through that article briefly? All it says is a Philadelphia news pilot and photographer were killed when a helicopter crashed in New Jersey Tuesday night. Let's see. They were the only people on board the 7-seat aircraft and were returning from an assignment at the Jersey Shore. New Jersey State Police found the wreckage deep in the forest, which spans 122,000 acres or 192 square miles just after midnight off of Mullica River Road. There's a 192 square mile forest in New Jersey. Who knew? I would just think New Jersey's just like packed wall to wall with people. The site is very difficult to access due to its location in the woods, the station said. That Wharton State Forest, New Jersey, largest, is located in the Pinelands, 1.1 million acre square mile ecosystem that makes up 22% of New Jersey. The crash site is approximately 40 miles southeast of Philadelphia. Videos from the ground and the air captured flames coming from the wreckage as investigators scoured through the debris of the aircraft. So sad news for local reporters in Philadelphia. I'm curious what story they were doing on the Jersey Shore. But anyway, the bigger news. Wait, why do I have two of those? Oh no, the bigger news is clearly Colorado. And unless you're living on a rock, I know a lot of you came from Monkey Show. Hello, Zed the Snarky, by the way. If you came from Monkey Show, you know that the Colorado Supreme Court has. I just want someone who has the news. The Colorado Supreme Court has removed, well, not yet, but has removed Donald Trump from the ballot, the primary ballot in the state of Colorado. And it's interesting, one, because primary ballots aren't necessarily a state-run thing. Like, parties run the primaries. The state runs the election. But they removed him. 6 people, apparently Republicans, sued to have Donald Trump removed from the ballot in Colorado for the primaries. And this went through the courts, and we'll read some stories on it. But the courts said, oh, yeah, okay. We're going to remove him from the ballot. Now, the judgment is stayed until January 4th, pending what they would assume would be a United States Supreme Court action. This is insane, if you ask me, but a lot of you already read about it. A lot of you already heard about it. So we're just going to go through some reactions of people. But let me show you all the topics that are trending because of this action. Okay, we're going to start with Colorado. Okay, we've got 14th Amendment. We've got election interference. We've got due process. We've got 6 Republicans. We've got SCOTUS. And we've got democracy. And also, just as a commentary note, Vivek, because Vivek did something pretty bold, as far I would say. So anyway, let's see if we can find. We're going to talk about reactions to it, because basically, they disqualified Trump from the 2024 ballot, writing that the secretary may not list President Trump's name on the 2024 presidential primary ballot. Again, even just that, I would say, how do they have any control of the Republican primaries? They shouldn't. But even that, even beyond that, well, if you've listened to anyone else read the summary, because I'm not even going to read the summary. You've all heard it already. The 6 who received money from Soros and worked for Media Matters. No surprise. They were Republicans, but I'm wondering how Republican they really were. You know what I'm saying? They might have just registered Republicans so they could do this suit to have standing, which I'm not even sure of how they even had standing. But anyway, let's start with Kayleigh McEnany because, just because, and this is a fairly long segment on Fox News. We'll watch some of it, but I'm going to go through a bunch of these. But she says, they disqualified Trump at the 2024 ballot. Here's why this decision is legally unsound and likely to be reversed by the Supreme Court. So let's start with Kayleigh McEnany. Give me a second here. Let me just make it so you can see her, because, people like to see her.
We begin tonight with breaking news. The Colorado Supreme Court has just removed former President Donald Trump from the 2024 ballot. In a 4-3 ruling, the state Supreme Court has found Trump ineligible as a presidential candidate under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment.
And now it's interesting, too.
This amendment disqualifies sworn officials who allegedly, quote, engaged in insurrection. In other words,
what's interesting about this, too, if you read the 14th Amendment, it lists several types of offices that this can apply to. It never mentions the president, but we're going to keep going. I'll let her talk for a little bit. We'll see how far we go here.
Words, 4 unelected judges are trying to preempt the will of voters, the will of the people of Colorado. And
are they unelected? Do they elect judges in Colorado, or are judges appointed in Colorado? I'm not sure, but it's all Democrat. They're all Democrats. I don't know if they're appointed or elected in Colorado.
All in the name of democracy that they are undermining.
Isn't that
democracy.
hilarious?
Incredible.
Democracy.
And they're using a so-called
GDSOB.
insurrection as an excuse. The case will almost certainly be appealed to the United States Supreme Court, setting up a high-stakes legal battle that could very well define the course of the 2024 presidential election.
Now, what's fascinating about that, too, obviously you think this is going to be overturned. Everyone thinks it's going to be overturned. Or do they just not take it up, one? Or is it going to end up being a 6-3 decision just because the 3 Democrat appointed court members and causing more havoc amongst Democrats? But there was no insurrection. The first thing that I would say, there was no insurrection. Do I need to say that more than once? There was no insurrection. By any standard, there was no insurrection. And yet these judges determine that because they say they're finding a fact, which they determined themselves that there was an insurrection. Now, again, we have another. I go back to. I don't want to go back to George Santos, but George Santos was kicked out of Congress without due process. They've kicked Donald Trump off the ballot without due process, claiming there was an insurrection, to which something he was never even been charged with. None of the charges of the 91 indictments, not one says anything about insurrection. Doesn't. Anyway, Kaylee.
Now, let me be exceedingly clear. This is the latest attempt by the far left to stop Trump at any cost. We know this playbook, even if it means destroying the Constitution and the rule of law. The 14th Amendment was ratified in 1868 after the Civil War. It's only been used a handful of times, and it was used, get this, to disqualify Confederates. But here we have a court of the United States resurrecting an obscure and tailored legal theory of constitutional law to disqualify President Donald Trump. But there are serious legal problems with the Colorado court's ruling.
And what are those?
First and foremost, special counsel Jack Smith, he looked over all of the facts, and he did not even charge Trump with insurrection or rebellion. That was not listed. Why? Because the facts don't match the law, and in courts of law, you've got to do that. Take a basic law school course, and you'll find that out. But that's the strategy
is the amazing
of the left.
part.
First, it was Russian collusion. Then it was impeachment, not once, but twice. Then it was indictments. There were 4 of those. And now,
that was looking a little gray there.
disqualification, wiping Trump off the ballot. And if you had any doubt that this is the goal, just look at this. Take a look at this map. This is happening across the country.
Notice where they're doing it, too.
There have been 31 cases seeking Trump's removal from the ballot. More than a dozen remain pending. And look at these states. Look at where the cases are ongoing. Texas, South Carolina. These are red states.
I'm surprised it's
Trump will
in
most likely
Texas.
win those, unless, of course, he's wiped off the ballot. The old adage is, if you can't beat them, join them. But the left has inverted that. The way of the left is, if you can't beat them, disqualify them. Here now with reaction, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett.
Okay, I'm going to stop there, because this is the whole segment. I don't want to watch the whole segment. I want to see some other reactions other than, and I'm not worried about Greg Jarrett and whatever. But we'll just scroll down. Jason Whitlock, or Willick, not Whitlock, the sports guy. What predicts Colorado Supreme Court judges' vote on Trump disqualification? Not party. All are Democratic appointees, but law school. All Ivy League grads voted to disqualify. All Denver law grads voted not to disqualify. That's interesting. In the wake of Colorado, does that mean that Republicans can go after Democrats using the same 14th Amendment criteria? Of course they can. Will they? Absolutely not. You're assuming they have the balls to fight. Oh, damn! Shots fired. Sticks, Hex, and Hammer. Also, I wonder if TDS sufferers and persecution-loving bootlickers realize just how spectacularly their Colorado case is going to backfire. And here it is. Oh, no. I don't even need to read Colorado Supreme Court judge's opinions. I already know what she's going to say every time. Oh, no. She has the corporate haircut of, well, never mind. I won't even say it. Let's see here. Following the news last night, the Colorado Supreme Court has disqualified President Trump from being in the GOP primary ballot. Dave Williams, chairman of the Colorado GOP, came onto my show to react. He told the Colorado Supreme Court, go fuck yourself, and told me that now the Colorado GOP is going to take a vote to endorse President Trump before the GOP primary in light of this unprecedented election interference. So here's Dave Williams from the Colorado GOP.
Want to ask me what's sort of the sentiment I'm feeling right now about this, and I won't say it for some of your viewers that might be underage, but essentially I'd like to let you know that how when Elon Musk was asked about the censorship he was facing on X, he said, you know,
Go fuck
basically
yourself.
go
I'll
F
say
yourself.
it. If you
That's
have
my
kids
sentiment
watching
right
my
now
show,
for the
Yeah.
corrupt people.
why the
Just
hell aren't
say
they
it.
in school right now?
Just say it, you know, because I say it all the time on my show. I'll say it with you, you know. You can say it. Honestly, you should. You should say it. And then it will be broadcasted all over Colorado. You should say it live on Loomer Unleashed.
Sure, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
To
right.
quote Elon Musk.
Why is her microphone?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody that's
not
trying
picking
to
up her
illegally
voice?
interfere in our elections, you need to go fuck yourself. You
Or
do.
is that just her? Is her voice that
This
whiny?
is absurd, and we're not going to take it lying down. We're going to fight this, and we're going to make sure that your precious right to vote is protected.
Yeah. Again, it's I'm gonna stop there. You're saving democracy by not allowing people to vote for someone you want to vote for. Dark to light. No, I'm not going to do an hour of that. Mark Stein, Live Around the Planet, Constitutional Crisis Edition, the Denver boot. Here's Ty Cobb, formerly U.S. Assistant U.S. Attorney, tells CNN the U.S. Supreme Court will likely act quickly and overturn the Supreme Court ruling. Colorado. He thinks it'll be a 9-0 decision. This is on This is CNN.
In Supreme Court. So I think this case will be handled quickly. I think it could be 9-0 in the Supreme Court for Trump. So I think this case will be handled quickly.
Well, that's not very much.
It could be 9-0 in
That doesn't tell me much. They didn't put enough video. Here's I saw this when I first opened up Twitter this morning. The new Colorado state flag, because we got a new flag in Minnesota. Well, apparently they have a new Colorado state flag, and it looks like that. Developing Congressman Wesley Hunt explodes, writes, the state of Colorado just removed Donald Trump from the 2024 ballot, an effort led by 4 Democrats. The very same Democrats who scream about democracy just took an open flame to the very concept. If Donald Trump is so unpopular with the American people, then why are we witnessing unprecedented election interference to stop him from winning next year? Rhetorical question. You know the answer. Every American should be outraged by what's happening tonight. And you know what though? I want to see some Democrat reactions. We'll get to it. I know on one of these threads, it's almost all Democrats talking. Stephen Miller. Conservative officials must respond to the assault on democracy in Colorado by removing Biden from the ballot for leading and engineering an insurrection on the border, a crime against the Constitution of such magnitude, and it defies comparison. So, this dude, this guy, he is one of the DeSantis. I don't want to say shills. He's just a heavy-duty DeSantis supporter and does not like Trump. And he's saying this race is over. The Colorado ruling will lead Trump to not being eligible for the ballot in several states. This is due to Trump's irresponsible actions leading up to January 6th. No, you got it so wrong, dude. For the good of the country, I'm calling on Trump to drop out so our party can unite around Governor DeSantis. He's not even number 2 right now. It is time for the party to heal and for us to support someone who will be eligible on the ballot in all 50 states. He's way out over his skis on this one, dude. I'm sorry. He's way out over his skis. Let's see. Anyone else here? Colorado mess just reeks of Dem dark money. The playbook. Dem court throws Trump off the ballot. Dems celebrate, but is clearly unconstitutional. SCOTUS overturns it. Dems say SCOTUS is illegitimate. Dems hold hearings to further undermine the rule of law. Yeah, they're just looking for an excuse to add people to the Supreme Court. Here's another one. Here's Frank Luntz. Colorado will make Trump's poll numbers rise. Like, okay, I was going to make a Kayleigh McEnany joke, but somebody already did in the chat. Hello. Oh, Jen was already here. Sean DW. What's up, brother? Nice to have you back. Welcome. All right, let's hear who is that guy? That's some scary looking dude right there. I don't think that's Frank Luntz. Let's see. Here's some more. This is CNN.
And for more on the political impact, we're joined now by pollster and communication strategist Frank Luntz,
Oh, there he
who's
is.
been getting the pulse of Trump voters for years. So the obvious first question, Frank, what
They're
do you think the
pushing.
impact of this
They're
ruling
pushing Trump
will
to
be
an
on their
easy
support
win.
for him?
It's going to be exactly what the indictments did. It's going to be exactly what the criticisms have done.
Look,
Donald Trump thrives on negativity. He thrives on legal systems that try to hold him accountable. And I'm convinced that his polling numbers are going to go up.
look. For example, I'm not a Trump guy. Everyone who watches this show knows I'm not a Trump guy. But this type of bullshit puts me square in Trump camp. Okay, I like I like most of the GOP candidates, but this shit puts me just. I'm about to put on a MAGA hat. That's about how much this pisses me off. It's complete bullshit. It's complete bullshit ruling. One, the Colorado courts have no basis to use that word insurrection if the former president hasn't been convicted of any insurrection. It's not even an insurrection. It was a riot at the Capitol that he didn't lead. And if you've heard the summary, I've only heard the summary. I saw Rakita go over it last night, and I monkeyed it this morning. They make the determination that was an insurrection, and they make the determination that they can keep him off the ballot based on what? Something he's never been charged with? It makes no sense. Anyway.
Just today, the New York Times published 6 key swing states and had Donald Trump up beyond the
in
margin
all of
error
them.
in 5 out of the 6.
In all of
The
them.
polling earlier a month ago.
And
was
it'll go even
significant.
higher.
Trump is gaining. The more that he is prosecuted, the more that he is condemned, the higher his numbers go as people rally around him.
Because we
And I
know
would say to the
you are
judges,
full of
as I
shit.
said to the Justice Department, you're actually making it more likely that Donald Trump is elected next November by how you are pursuing this. You don't explain the decisions. You don't put things in context. And so Trump climbs and climbs and climbs. And right now, he's beating Joe Biden clearly nationwide.
Like a rented
The
mule.
judges would say, look, we're just going by the law without fear of favor.
Oh my God. That's what she wants them to say. And of course they'll say that because they've got an agenda.
And I mean, but does the
What up,
context
Banks? How
matter
you
to Trump
doing?
supporters? Because there have been. I mean, tonight's ruling was really lengthy, explaining point by point why they believe he incited the insurrection, why the.
It doesn't matter. He hasn't been. No one else has convicted him of that. It's a court asked. There's a question that we're not being asked.
Amendment applies to him, but to the average Trump supporter, does that context even matter? Is this more about once again? Trump
Does the
is
law
victim
even matter,
of
you
the
moron?
kind of thinking?
It actually proves Trump's point.
It
proves
absolutely
that the people
proves
in
that point.
charge,
Hello,
the
James
people in
Stoner.
power, are trying to take him down. But it's not. You're not trying to reach all the Trump voters. You're simply trying to reach 3 or 4% of them that will make a difference in this election. Now, make no mistake. There's very few undecided voters right now. There are very few people who are going back and forth between Trump and Biden.
You know who that's for.
It's more about those people who are trying to decide whether or not to vote. And I got to tell you, Nikki Haley was gaining and gaining and gaining every single day. But she's going to be lost in the coverage for the next few days, maybe for the next couple of weeks. As Trump
and notice how he's almost sad about that. Hell, Velvetina, how you doing? Do you see how he's almost upset about that? He's like almost, gosh, Nikki Haley was gaining every day, and now she's just going to be lost. And he's looked distraught about that. He knows what's up. What up, patio furniture?
He is the best victim politician I have ever seen in my 35
What do you
years.
mean victim politician? Well, stop doing bullshit against him. I'm going Joe Biden on you.
You know the thing.
Stop doing that. Stop going after him. You make he's the red eye guy. You know the glowing red eye guy. That's Donald Trump right now. He's just getting stronger and stronger.
And this is exactly what he would have wanted. in the run-up to the Iowa caucus.
Very quickly, because it stuck out to me in looking at these polls, how many people...
By the way, the Colorado GOP is considering dropping their primaries and doing caucuses because of this. Because whether he's on the ballot or not, you think people will forget his name when it comes to going to the polls? And because nobody federally has said that he's not eligible for office. So why would a state court use, say under the 14th Amendment, which the state court has nothing to do with the U.S. Constitution, other than that their state laws have to follow it too, right? You know what I'm saying? They don't rule on the U.S. Constitution, but in this case they did. Maybe I'm missing something.
who sat out in 2020 are now saying they're going to vote and they're going to vote for Trump.
Hell
so you
yeah.
think this just supercharges that, right? It's going to just bring more people out to vote for him.
Someone send me a MAGA hat, baby. Send me a MAGA hat now.
It was Nevada, because that's a state with a significant percentage of Latino votes. Trump has been screaming about illegal immigration, and Nevada seems to be rewarding him for the language that he uses and for the intensity.
What do you mean the language he uses? You know, the Latino voters are not happy about illegal immigration. Frank, you're a pollster. You should know this. Legitimate, just multi-generational Hispanics and legal immigrants and children and grandchildren of legal immigrants are not happy about what's going on the border. Oh my God. By the way, I might have a guest about we're going to talk about immigration. I'm working on one. You know who you're in the chat. I know you know who I need to talk to. Anyway,
if Nevada's going this much for Trump, that ought to send you a big signal about what's happening in America today.
All right,
and plus, who's he going against? Joe Biden? Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's really going to be Joe Biden. You know my opinion on that. All right. In breaking report, Dave Williams, the chairman of the Colorado GOP, tells the state Supreme Court to go fuck yourself. Yeah, he did on Laura Loomis' show. All right. So a lot of people are obviously talking about this. Here is Ron DeSantis weighed in. I hadn't heard what he said about it yet. Let's see what Ron DeSantis. Well, maybe. Maybe. Okay, let's do this. We'll try it this way. See if we can get it to run. It's not allowed. Maybe they took it down. For some reason, I can't play this video no matter whose post I've tried. Chrome, Firefox, weird. Twix, masking the source. Video links prevents backing up the chain. Oh, so did someone on Twitter not want you to see this video? I don't know. Let's see if we can get it. We'll get a reaction from Ron DeSantis. RFK Jr., every American should be troubled by the Colorado Supreme Court's decision to remove President Trump from the ballot. So, and look, Robert F. Kennedy wants to beat Donald Trump in that ballot. You're wondering why Colorado would declare a candidate disqualified from being on the national ballot. I'm wondering how many more states mimicking that behavior it's going to take before things go kinetic. We are not the same. Representative Clay Higgins, it's Colorado, they're high. SCOTUS will overrule THC. Here's Vivek, who has pledged to. Well, here, let Vivek tell his own story.
They have just tried to bar President Trump from the Colorado ballot using an unconstitutional maneuver that is a bastardization of the 14th Amendment to our U.S. Constitution. This was a provision, Section 3, that was designed to bar Confederate members, people who switched to the Confederacy, from actually being able to serve. That's very different than what's at issue here, to say the least. This is a hollowed out husk of what the country was built on. The basic principle that we, the people, select our leadership, not the unelected elite class in the back of palace halls. That's old world Europe, not the United States. That's why I'm making a pledge today that I will withdraw. I pledge to withdraw from the Colorado GOP primary ballot unless and until Trump's name is restored. And I demand that Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie and Nikki Haley do the same thing, or else these Republicans are simply complicit in this unconstitutional attack on the way we conduct our constitutional republic. I refuse to be complicit in that. I think what they're doing is wrong, and I think it's up to Republicans to step up and stand up with a spine for our country's future. That's really what's at stake.
What's going on with this
Whether
camera?
we, the people, actually have a say in deciding who leads this country. Yes, it would be easier for other Republicans like me who are running in this race to say, hey, if Trump is sidelined, there's our opportunity. No doubt other candidates are probably privately celebrating with their corporate sponsors. That's not the right thing to do. I think the most useful thing that every GOP candidate can do right now is to join me in that pledge. I'll say that I will withdraw from that Colorado GOP primary ballot until Trump's name is restored. This belongs to the people, not to the unelected Democratic cabal of judges in Colorado or any other state. And I demand that Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley and Chris Christie do the same thing, or else they're complicit in what this security state is trying to do to shut down Trump. I stand by that, and I expect them to do the right thing.
Interesting what Avocados Dialogly noticed. He said, I pledge to withdraw, not withdraw, or I withdraw. Semantics, but still, because I don't think that primary is until late March, and this is supposed to, the Colorado Supreme Court stayed this decision until January 4th, pending a Supreme Court guidance, so to speak. Good morning. Who did I just see that I didn't see already? Septus Wolf, what's up? Good morning. All right, so that's that. Let's move on, because I'm going to show you, we're going to go into some of the other topic headers on this topic. So, for example, 14th Amendment's coming up a lot in the wake of the that's already done. Is it fraudulently using the 14th Amendment, falsely accusing Donald Trump of insurrection to keep him off the ballot? Insurrection itself? That's a good question from Tom Fitton.
Fraudulently using the 14th Amendment and falsely accusing someone to keep someone off a ballot, falsely accusing someone running for president, the number one candidate for president this time, of insurrection.
Number one overall.
You know, isn't that insurrection? Would you misstate the Constitution and misuse the Constitution to target your political opponent and upend an election that way?
Okay.
Fraudulently used.
Interesting question. Redheaded libertarian, if a natural-born citizen of the United States is at least 35 years old, has been a resident for 14 years, and has not been convicted of treason, he has a constitutionally protected liberty to be on the ballot in any state. Sources, Article 2, Section 5, 5th Amendment, 9th Amendment, 14th Amendment. Fact check. Trump didn't engage in insurrection or rebellion. Plus, the relevant 14th Amendment clause doesn't apply to the president. That's the part that I'm saying. The 14th Amendment. Now, okay. It does not explicitly say the president, and also it does not say the office of president. It says they cannot be elected to Congress, Senate, electors. I would dig it up, but someone else will probably say it here. Most sane adults thought insurrection was an odd word choice to describe January 6th, yet it was used everywhere immediately and repeatedly. Now remember, I was watching this live, right? I was watching January 6th events live. I had two live streams on one monitor, and I had CNN streaming one and whatever. And very early on, like right after the crowd was all up there, but there was no real violence going on that you could see. And I remember this distinctly. The very first person to say the word insurrection was Anderson Cooper. And I remember it, because it stuck out of my head that word was used. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to try to play a 14th Amendment play on this, aren't they? Because I knew that clause, because everyone was talking about it. That was what they were worried about, that, if this turned into a shit show, beforehand, because a lot of people were just saying, don't even go to Washington that day. Don't even get caught up in that, because they're going to somehow spin this as some kind of rebellion, right? And soon as I heard Anderson Cooper use the word insurrection, and then I was listening to other pundits all over the place, they were all using the same word, like this was planned out, like they all knew that they wanted this to be an insurrection. And so this guy says, most adults thought insurrection was an odd word choice to describe January 6th, yet it was used everywhere immediately and repeatedly. This Colorado decision is based purely on the use of that term in the 14th Amendment. Funny how this happened. Yeah, right? The only person now someone here says Citizens for Ethics crew, right? The only person Donald Trump can blame for his disqualification from the Colorado ballot is himself. He incited insurrection after swearing an oath to defend the Constitution. Where was the insurrection? A protest is not an insurrection. They did not take up arms against the United States. They did not attempt to take over the government. They did not attempt to separate from the government. They did not make war on the United States. It was not an insurrection. These people are morons. The court simply enforced Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Bullshit. Just straight bullshit. Adam Cohen, Lawyers for Good Government. Trump gathered his minions to D.C., incited them to attempt insurrection. What was the insurrection? Again, they show pictures of the guys fighting with the police. And watch as they beat Capitol Police. Trump violated the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Colorado rightly disqualified him for it. SCOTUS may reinstate him, but he will always be a traitor. How would he be a traitor? He was the president at the time. How do you incite an insurrection against yourself? He was the president of the United States. Unbelievable that some people are that stupid. The Colorado Supreme Court on Tuesday disqualified Trump from the 2024 ballot. Legal theories are based on Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution, 14th Amendment, which states public officials who have engaged in insurrection or rebellion may be disqualified from public office. What rebellion? What insurrection? That's why they all had their talking point ready on that day, that all the pundits were using that word insurrection. And CNN every hour, every commentator was using the word insurrection. How does a state court find that Trump was somehow guilty of a federal crime that he wasn't charged for? How does Section 3 of the 14th Amendment even apply? This is crazy, totally unconstitutional. So these are reactions from yesterday. All right. So 14th Amendment's being talked about. Also, election interference is being talked about. Laura Loomer, a surrogate for Trump. The ruling in Colorado against President Trump last night will backfire even more than what the indictments and arrests have. Democrats, libertarians, and independents are now uniting around President Trump following this unprecedented act of election interference. She continues, below is an example of the shift that is already taking place. People are outraged. Someone named Mark Patterson, I just changed my voter registration from libertarian affiliated to Republican affiliated. Someone else here, I'm changing my voter registration from independent to Republican. As a veteran, I swore to help protect America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The Colorado ruling is unconstitutional, but you can always count on Democrats to have never read the Constitution. Who's this guy? Blacks for Trump. Let's see what he's saying.
When are you guys gonna learn? The more you indict, the more we unite. Facts. It's Trump 2024. We don't care. You heard me? We already made our mind up. You already know when the hood got your back. Man, they deep in the hood. Gangsters hollering about Trump 2024. You heard me? Woo, woo. Wah. Gangsters. The hood got this man back. I'm just trying to tell you. You heard me? And we ain't stupid, man. American people, man. We ain't all them talking about lockdowns and back wearing the mask and all that. You know, they got a new virus coming and it's gonna be, man, nobody don't care. Ain't fooling nobody no more with none of that. You know, new jab, man, nobody being fooled no more. We all the way up, you heard me? It's Trump 2024. That's what it's gonna be, 'cause we ain't having nothing else. When are you guys gonna learn?
All right, so let's see, who's this guy? Banning Trump from the ballot in Colorado in 24 will completely backfire on desperate Democrats again. I don't know who this is. Someone's named J.D. Sharp. Let's see what J.D. Sharp saying
24.
Here. Hang on.
I never thought Democrats would get this desperate, but it's finally happened. Breaking news. Donald Trump has been banned from the ballot in Colorado in 2024. This is election interference at the highest level. And like usual, it will backfire. Not only will Trump carry the Republican Party in the primary, Colorado, mark my words, is going to be going red in 2024. That's how this works. You ban someone from the ballot, the general public wonders why, they start to question you, they start to lose trust in you, and then they go the other way. Expect this to happen in 2024. Again, Donald Trump has now been banned.
If that's
in
true,
the state of Colorado.
Okay, if that's true that they will, if it's true that they will, it'll backfire. The Colorado GOP should have their asses in gear right now and push that message. Another question: which court convicted him of incitement? The first impeachment, the second impeachment, or any of the lawfare kangaroo courts of persecution? And yes, none of them. One state Supreme Court with 7 TDS Democrat judges decided they can disenfranchise not only Colorado voters, but voters in every other state. Nothing's telling us about this. They are so confident in their ruling that they stayed their own opinion because they know it's going to SCOTUS. Now, here's the other thing. No, only 4 of the 7 judges, and all 7 judges in the Colorado Supreme Court were appointed by Democrats, but it was a 4-3 decision, so it wasn't all of them. So 5 Russian dudes making a Facebook page is election interference, but 4 activist judges banning the leading candidate of the opposing party from the ballot is acceptable? So anyway, and again, Congress must be hunt. We already talked about it. Oh, let's see what Terrence Williams got to say. He's got 5 minutes. He's going on and on. I'm not going to listen to Terrence. Terrence is funny, but he ain't that funny. All right. Another thing trending is due process. Tim Pool. Democracy is when you expel people from Congress and bar their names from elections without due process, because to these people, democracy actually means fucking you in the ass without consent. Okay, that's about, oh my gosh, that's 2 things. Now this is someone who says we just won. Who is Noah Bookbinder? Who says he's president of Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, crew. We just won before the Colorado Supreme Court, and our challenge is to keep Donald Trump off the ballot as disqualified under the 14th Amendment for engaging in insurrection. A huge moment for democracy. More to come soon. Really? That's a huge moment for democracy? So somehow you convinced some judges that what happened on January 6, 2021 was actually an insurrection? People came in with no weapons, not even trying to take over, just came to protest, and you're saying that was an insurrection. So protesting an election is an insurrection. So responses to that are, Hitler would be proud. This democracy, like abortion, is healthcare. I think all the swirlies you got in high school damaged your brain. Removing someone from the ballot is democracy, according to you, and you really see nothing wrong with that statement. You're beyond help. Tell me, when was he convicted of engaging in insurrection? You are celebrating someone being punished for a crime they have not been convicted of and disenfranchising half of Colorado voters. But people like you don't just care about the constitutionality as long as it suits you. You are all cheaters at heart. You know your position is so warped that you would never win in a fair fight. And then we need to prevent democracy in order to save democracy. Okay. So that was the due process. 6 Republicans. Now, a lot of people saying, okay, they say 6 Republicans filed the lawsuit. So here's someone saying, even though the case was filed by 6 Republicans, the Colorado Supreme Court cited previous ruling by Justice Gorsuch. This lawsuit clearly shows the desperation of the Democrats. In a country that persecutes and prevents political frontrunners from being on the ballot or even written, whether it was by 6 Republicans or Democrats, is a country that has lost democracy. Then have the nerve to be a moral compass to the rest of the world. U.S. is over. And then again, you Democrats are setting precedents that will use against you, to which this person said, 6 Republicans filed the lawsuit, you dumb motherfucker. I want to see the replies to this. Holy shit. Oh, this page does not exist. He may have deleted the tweet for all we know. Probably, because, you know, he's probably starts with P, ends with Y. And I don't mean Playboy. MAGAs are losing their minds over the Trump being excluded from Colorado ballot. 6 Republicans brought that suit, not liberals or Democrats, Republicans. Didn't someone say that they were... Some of them worked for Media Matters, though. Yeah, I believe they were Republicans. Like, I think that my grass is green in the middle of winter. Or better yet, my grass is purple in the middle of winter. That's about how much I believe they were actually 6 Republicans. Well, I got those 6 Republicans didn't do any research before filing their lawsuit. I mean, shit, I just like Gorsuch immensely. But I even knew about this one on states' rights. Okay. They're claiming this is a states' rights thing, but they are basing it on a federal law or federal constitution. So they have to, are they interpreting that this was an actual insurrection? So these are a lot of people, obviously all the people saying 6 Republicans are, well, it wasn't Democrats who did this, it was 6 Republicans. Hey, MAGA, why do you cry about the Colorado Supreme Court decision and blame Democrats? This case was brought by 6 Republicans, real Republicans. Now you will cry rhino, but we all know that what that projection means, except the fact that you no longer support a democracy or America. Okay, you're, oh my God, your brain is broken if you say that this has anything to do with democracy. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. All right, let's move on. Also, SCOTUS is trending. Democrats are already want to destroy the Supreme Court. Does John Roberts want Republicans joining them if SCOTUS upholds the decision kicking Trump off the ballot? That may not be the question he's asking himself this morning, but it should be. Kurt Schlichter, a right-wing nut job, fellow right-wing nut job, I should say. So he's responding to you. It says, Colorado Supreme Court, by a vote of 4-3, beclouds itself and its state. SCOTUS should move quickly to reverse this idiocy. The polarization of the courts at all levels is greatly damaging the rule of law. It should be a 9-0 reversal, and it should be quick. Here's the problem. It won't be 9-0. It may be 7-2. It may be 8-1. But I almost can't, unless all of a sudden a certain justice grows a brain, there's going to be one justice who will if one justice is not going to vote to turn this over. And I'm going to say it's our latest one, because I'll tell you what, her twists and turns in some of these cases to make something. If it's, oh my God, 5-4, I don't think it'd be 5-4. I think it'll be 8-1. I think it'll be 8-1. Because just the fact that they're saying, they're basing it on Trump leading an insurrection. That word, that word is a word that has not been used in any court case against Donald Trump. So John Roberts will probably, that's what I'm saying. And John Roberts will probably refuse the case. And that's why Schlichter, is it Schlichter? No. Virat Mehta. Again, I'm going to read this again because what's Roberts thinking right now? Democrats already wanted to destroy the Supreme Court. Does Justice Roberts want Republicans joining them if SCOTUS upholds their decision kicking Trump off the ballot, or doesn't do any action on this? That may not be the question he's asking himself this morning, but it should be. Robert Barnes, there is no historical parallel legal precedent or constitutional support for the all-Democrat Colorado Supreme Court to prohibit voters from choosing whom they want for president by ballot barring Trump. Will be up to SCOTUS to stop this third world style election manipulation. All right, so I'm withdrawing my name from the ballot in Colorado, considering SCOTUS will nuke what Colorado pulled today. My saying this means as much as anyone saying this. Oh, he's probably talking about Vivek. All right, other trending on this, democracy. Yeah, this guy, a huge moment for democracy. That's the guy from Crew. To punish allegedly anti-democratic behavior, party that loves democracy celebrates 4 judges preventing 6 million people from voting for a candidate democratically. You Democrats are setting precedents that will be used against you. Conservatives have been threatening this for decades, and it never happens. American democracy isn't a pendulum; it's a ratchet. Michael Malice, the time period between these articles is 2 days. Democracy dies in darkness. Washington Post. Oh, these are headlines from the Washington Post. Trump quotes Putin condemning American democracy, praises autocrat Orban. It shows the rottenness of the American political system, which cannot pretend to teach others about democracy. Trump quoted Putin saying in a speech. Trump added, "They're all laughing at us." Colorado Supreme Court rules Donald Trump is ineligible for the 2024 ballot. So they're laughing at us. They are. Let's see, Glenn Greenwald. Let's see he's got a thread here. Let's check out Glenn Greenwald's thread, and then we'll move on. So after 2016, first Brexit, then Trump's win, Western elites decided populations could no longer be trusted with the basic freedoms they choose and think wrong. That's what led to the censorship disinformation regime. Now they're barring the leading candidate from running. Imagine if Biden wins with Trump banned or jailed. U.S. sermons about democracy or condemning Putin imprisoning Navalny will be seen even a bigger joke than now. One of the West's key dissidents, Julian Assange, is jailed. They censored dissent. Now they're trying to ban Trump. It's always been a huge propagandistic mystery that the U.S. media succeeds in convincing Americans that the U.S. government defends freedom as it props up the worst dictators, Saudi, Egypt, etc. They're now escalating it in desperation. First after 2016, now seeing Trump-Biden polls, fear of free populations is a global trend. In Brazil, they imprisoned Lula in 2018 when leading all polls, then banned Bolsonaro from running. In Pakistan, CIA engineered removal and imprisonment of Imran Khan. All Western countries are increasing online speech controls. The worst part is the propaganda that the U.S. corporate media outlets spread. The liberal authoritarians who have imposed systemic censorship, who are trying to ban and imprison Biden's leading opponent, constantly glorify themselves as saving democracy. Oh, did I say hi to Jimmy Das Hotep? Did I say hi to you this morning? I don't remember doing this. And then he continues, just recall, Jack Smith could have charged Trump with insurrection or inciting one. He did not. Trump has never been charged with, let alone convicted of criminal insurrection. Liberal culture long ago stopped caring about due process, but it's still a vital safeguard. Prominent Republicans, conservatives whose work I follow, who dislike Trump, not the never Trump frauds, just one supporting someone else, end up consolidating in his defense when things like the Colorado ruling happen and liberals abuse legal power. So, there you go. Yeah, the left-wing fascists. How you doing, Jimmy Das Hotep? So, Cernovich, California voted to end illegal immigration handout. Okay, that's something else. And we already heard from Wesley Hunt. Oh, let's listen to Jonathan Turley. This is a short one. Let's listen to John Turley talk about this. He's always good to listen to. The Democrat who always supports Republicans. He's kind of like Tim Pool. Or, no, who was it? Claimed to be a liberal and always, well, that's Tim Pool too. Anyway, here's Jonathan Turley.
Well, this court just handed partisans on both sides the ultimate tool to try to shortcut elections. And it's very, very dangerous. I mean, this country is a powder keg, and this court is just throwing matches at it. And I think that it's a real mistake, but I think that they're wrong on the law. You know, January 6th was many things, most of it not good. In my view, it was not an insurrection. It was a riot. That doesn't mean that the people responsible for that day shouldn't be held accountable. But to call this an insurrection for the purpose of disqualification would create a slippery slope for every state in the union. This is a time when we actually need democracy. We need to allow the voters to vote. We need to hear their decision. And the court here just said, you're not going to get that.
Can't do it. Nope, not in Colorado.
We're not going to let you vote for Donald Trump.
No.
And, you know, you could dislike Trump. You could believe he's responsible for January 6th. But this isn't the way to do it. I mean, it is, you know, for people that say they're trying to protect democracy, this is hands down the most anti-democratic opinion I've seen.
Yeah, we're looking like, what's that thing? Banana Republic? What's it called? Oh, my God. All right, and then Vivek's trending, but that's because he vows to drop out or whatever, drop off the ballot. I think, like I said, the Colorado GOP is already made noises that they might not do their primary, do caucuses instead, because the state cannot control their caucuses. Say that the wrong way once or twice. All right. Let's go to a few articles about this. Well, first, let me take a break from this for a second because Gunfox dropped an article in the tip jar, and I'm going to do this one first. And this is about the state of New York. Not just the state of New York, but the state of New York, because something's happened in New York City that they're probably not happy about. And this is wild. The state of New York loses 24.4, that should be a B, billion, $24.4 billion in state adjusted gross income. Oh, wait. They're losing population, big deal. Rachel Maddow's dildo's in the house. Nice to see you. I think. that sentence doesn't sound right. Oh, it's good to see Rachel Maddow's dildo. No, don't ever use that line again. Hello, Renee Mayette, too. Anyway, New York lost an eye-popping $24.5 billion in state-adjusted gross income in 2021 as residents fled to New Jersey, Florida, and other low-tax states, according to newly released Internal Revenue Service data. The IRS data, based on income tax returns filed in 2020 and 2021, show the Empire State lost more than 261,785 residents in a 12-month span ending last July, driven by, quote, domestic out-migration, end quote, of people moving to other states. The data shows the state has lost an estimated $45 billion with a B dollars in taxable income during those years. New Jersey and Florida were the biggest beneficiaries of New York transplants. More than 85,650 people moved from New York to Florida, taking $10 billion. By contrast, only 25,813 Florida residents moved to New York, bringing in $1.1 billion. So basically a loss of $8.9 billion for the state of New York. New York wasn't the only blue state to see an exodus of taxpayers and income during the COVID-19 pandemic, accelerating income flight from high tax to low-tax states. California saw the most significant amount of outward migration in 2021, with at least 32,000 taxpayers taking an estimated $29 billion to Texas, Arizona, and other states, according to the report. That comes on top of $18 billion in revenue loss in the previous year, the IRS said. So California, Gavin Newsom's bright and shiny feces-infested homeless population state, is losing a lot of people that probably were paying taxes. Black Hebrew Israelites in the house. Whoops.
That's right.
Something like that. Florida, which doesn't have a state income tax, gained $39.2 billion in income in 2021, an increase compared to its gain of $23.7 billion in 2020 and $17.7 billion in 2019, according to IRS data. Texas saw net inflows of $10.9 billion in adjusted gross income in 2021, the IRS data shows, gaining $6.3 billion in 2020 and $4 billion in 2019. So a lot of people moving to Florida. That's weird because that state's supposed to be underwater soon, isn't it? Because, more proof of global warming. Anyway, and Wire Points, an independent research firm, says chronic outflows of taxpayers and income from New York and other high-tax states is that 1 year's losses don't affect the tax base the year they leave, but they also hurt all subsequent years. And New York lost the ability to tax a cumulative $1.1 trillion in adjusted gross income due to net out migration from 2000 to 2020. Oh, that's that's 2 decades. What's wild about this too? Maybe that's also why New York is like New York City, because a lot of that exodus is from New York City itself, right? And now New York City is going to start charging a commuter tax, or what they call it, a congestion tax of the cheapest one's is it $18 a day or something, like $24 a day or something like that, $15 a day. Either way, if you go into the city, they charge you a $15 toll, period, for the day. And I guess you can drive around it the whole day on it, but still, it's like you're adding people who work in New York City, you're adding at least $75 a week for 5 days, right? And if they go in on the weekends to see a show or something, you get the congestion tax. It's insane. So anyway, couldn't happen to a nicer state. FTG to New York. All right. Now, if you want to read this Colorado decision, we're not going to do it here, but I do have it in the links in the of the show today. It'll be right in the middle of the links. Colorado opinions from the Colorado Supreme Court on, in this appeal from a district court proceeding from the Colorado Election Code. Anyway, the actual court case, it's 121 pages, 213 pages. So I would suggest just reading the summary, unless you're really into reading long decisions. But everything or here's another way to do it. Go watch Nick Rekieta's show from last night, because he went through it and just key points. And he's a lawyer, so the shyster lawyer probably could figure it out better than you can. How's that sound? All right, Breitbart. Colorado Supreme Court disqualifies Trump from 2024 ballot. We already know from all the stuff that we read on Twitter, but the opinion reads in part, quote, the fact that at one point during his, listen to this. This is insane. This is where they talking about how they say insurrection. Hello, cannibalistic wizard. This is the part that when Nick read this last night, I almost laughed. I laughed out loud, but I was at work, so nobody heard me anyway because it's really noisy there. The fact that at one point during his speech, President Trump said that everyone here will soon be marching to the Capitol building. Oh, wait, they even put the peacefully protest part in here. That everyone will soon be marching to the Capitol to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard does not persuade us that the district court erred in finding that the first prong of the Brandenburg test was met. The isolated reference cannot inoculate. What? Cannot inoculate. President 20 Thompson involved a motion to dismiss. As a result, the court determined only that President Trump's speech plausibly involved words of incitement not protected by the First Amendment. So they were saying because he used the word fight. In fact, here it is. Requiring the plaintiffs show that their complaints are plausible to survive a motion, dismiss, failure, whatever. Something against conclusion that his exhortation made nearly an hour later to fight like hell immediately before sending rallygoers to the Capitol within the context of a larger speech and circumstances was not protected expression. Okay, so when he said those words, and the people who were at the ellipse were listening to Donald Trump speak, the violent part had already started. Those people who were at his speech hadn't got there. The breach of the Capitol grounds had already happened. And the idea that because he said fight like hell, they're saying that that was an exhortation to have those people do an insurrection with no weapons. They were that the people had no weapons. They were just there listening to his speech. They're going to walk over and peacefully protest. How is this an insurrection? The court's unilateral determination that Trump engaged in insurrection comes despite Trump having never been convicted of that or any other crime or even been charged in court with the crime of insurrection. He was acquitted by the U.S. Senate charges of engaging in insurrection and continues to deny wrongdoing. In support of this legal assertion, the court cites the U.S. House January 6th Select Committee, notwithstanding that Trump was acquitted of the House's charges in the Senate. So Trump's campaign spokesman Stephen Chung issued a statement reading, unsurprisingly, the all-Democrat appointed Colorado Supreme Court has ruled against President Trump supporting a Soros-funded left-wing group scheme to interfere in the election on behalf of the crooked Joe Biden by removing President Trump's name from the ballot and eliminating the rights of Colorado voters to vote for the candidate of their choice. Democratic Party leaders are in a state of paranoia over the growing dominant lead President Trump has amassed in the polls. They have lost faith in the failed Biden presidency and are now doing everything they can to stop American voters from throwing them out of office next November. The Colorado Supreme Court issued a completely flawed decision tonight, and we will swiftly file an appeal to the United States Supreme Court and a concurrent request for a stay of this deeply undemocratic decision, which it's already stayed. Hello, Lindsay, cynical Lindsay. We have full confidence that the Supreme Court will quickly rule in our favor and finally put an end to this un-American lawsuit. So, in American Thinker, let's move this over to the left. There we go. Colorado Supreme Court has removed Trump from the state's ballot. It's kind of the same information, and including Stephen Chung's reply or commentary. Let's see if there's anything new in this one. Again, here, insurrection is a federal crime, and even Jack Smith lacked the chutzpah to charge Trump with being guilty of insurrection under USC Code 2383. Neither the trial court nor the Supreme Court have the authority to find Trump guilty of insurrection under federal law. That's the other part. They don't have jurisdiction to find him guilty of insurrection. It's not a state crime. So that finding was garbage. The court's entire legal discussion is just as disgraceful. Typically, for leftist decisions, the judges try to make it look legitimate by burying the reader with authority pages and pages of it. However, as best I can tell, and I freely admit that I'm writing this having only skimmed the 213-page decision, it never mentions that. In 1872, Congress revoked the bar as it applied to the people against whom it was clearly enacted. Section 3 was ratified 3 years after the Civil War ended to ban from public office those who had engaged in insurrection or rebellion. So So here's the section that they're trying to do this on. No person shall be a senator. Now listen to this, by the way. Listen, because see if you notice something missing in this section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Listen very carefully. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid and comfort to the enemies thereof, but Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such a disability. Now, notice, did you catch what was missing there? Shall be a senator or representative of Congress or elector of president and vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial official of any state. President is never named in there. Not as a eligibility, because holding the office, civil or military, the president isn't considered a civil office, is it? I think they left out the president on purpose at the time when they did this, because the president could be accused of this at any time, depending on what treaty he decides to sign. The 14th Amendment was applied specifically to a 4-year-long civil war that resulted in 600,000 deaths. Section 3 was intended to keep that generation out of office. Within 4 years, the same Congress that ratified Section 3 concluded that the situation had changed sufficiently to remove that bar. The bar was about the Civil War, and the Civil War generation ended it. It is ludicrous to pretend that while Confederates who actually waged this war were freed of Section 3's restraints, President Trump was bound by it. Moreover, as Vivek Ramaswamy points out, the statute cannot affect Trump. Trump is not a former officer of the United States, as that term is used in the Constitution, meaning Section 3 does not apply. As the Supreme Court explained in Free Enterprise Fund versus Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, an officer of the United States is someone appointed by the president to aid him in his duties under Article 2, Section 2. That term does not apply to elected officials and certainly not to the president himself. It's unconstitutional because this Article 3 does not apply to a president of the United States or to the office of the president of the United States to be elected to that. So that's wild. Thank you, GunFox61, dropping another 5 spot in the tip jar. It says an article for tomorrow, a short one. We might get to it today. I'm not in a hurry today. So let's find out. Well, in fact, we're going to do this one today, GunFox. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me see if it'll open now. Why isn't it opening? Well, there we go. There we go. It opened. Okay, I'm going to come back to that, though. I'm going to come back to it. Where was I? I was in American Thinker. All right. So lots of people were tweeting about it, and they put a bunch of the tweets up here. Byron Donald, this is blatant disenfranchisement of millions of voters from the Colorado Supreme Court. Trump says it's best. They're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way. Yeah, that's true. So they've got a lot of people tweeting about it. Okay. Let's go on a couple more and then we'll move on to other topics here. Because I'm going longer today. And then we already know Vivek says the Colorado ruling, he will withdraw from the state primary if Trump's not allowed on the ballot. There's another article in Breitbart about that. Apparently, the reason I didn't want to do this one before is because I had an article about it. A Democratic pollster says is saying why Biden should be fighting to keep Trump on the Colorado ballot. Democratic pollster Douglas Schoen stated Tuesday on Fox News the ruling to remove former President Donald Trump from the Colorado state ballot is not only anti-democratic, but President Joe Biden should press the Supreme Court to keep him on. Schoen appeared on Special Report with Brett Baer to discuss the recent ruling from Colorado Supreme Court to remove the former president from the state's ballot for the upcoming 2024 election. He asked the Democratic pollster his thoughts on the Supreme Court's move, citing they claimed Trump violated the 14th Amendment. Schoen stated that as a Democrat, he believes it will not only hurt the party, but the democracy as well. Well, he's talking about democracy again. The pollster continued to highlight allegations against Trump have yet to be fully vetted in a court of law, emphasizing Biden should fight to keep him on the ballot. Well, and here's a quote. Well, this is one Democrat who believes this is going to hurt Democrats and certainly hurt democracy. You know, Donald Trump has not been convicted of anything, and to kick him off the ballot preemptively is, to me, anti-democratic and against the interest of the Democratic Party. Donald Trump has a lot of negatives, but to throw him off the ballot based on allegations which have not been fully vetted in a court of law with appeals is, to me, contrary to everything our country stands for. And I'm a Biden supporter. I would vote for Joe Biden tomorrow, but I will tell you, I would tell Joe Biden that he should press the Supreme Court to get Donald Trump back on the Colorado ballot, indeed, on every ballot. So, and then they said that the ruling was 4-3. So that's interesting. I don't know, how much of this did they put on here? Let's see how much.
And that is on the 14th Amendment, Section 3, which.
Okay, well, it's going to say the same thing I just said. It was only a minute long. I could have played it. And then we know Jonathan Turley is very much against the ruling. He was on Fox News also. Let's see what he says here live.
Matt Whitaker, Greg Jarrett, thank you for your expertise.
Oh, this is you know
what?
what?
Joining us now with more legal analysis.
This is the rest. Oh, this is, so now we're going to listen to Jonathan Turley. Let's listen to Jonathan Turley. Here, let's full screen this. I can't. Oh, well, that's fine.
This is Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley. Thank you for joining us, Professor Turley. Tease this out with us, because January, this ballot has to be finalized. There's a January 4th date listed here. How does this play out?
Well, it puts this on a rocket docket for the Supreme Court. They've got to get involved. They've got to get involved, first of all, because there's not much time to make a final decision. And they also have got to get involved because this is
Who thinks they're going to drag their feet?
I think they're wrong on the law. I just published a piece in Georgetown on this theory, and I think that it is fundamentally flawed, both in terms of the language of the Constitution and the history. What's striking, Kaylee, about this opinion is that there was a series of barriers, a couple of which you just discussed, in applying this provision to bar Trump.
How about
they had to
federal?
adopt the most sweeping interpretation on every single issue in order to get where they wanted to go. The only
they were
part
motivated.
Of the opinion
they were
that
motivated.
is not sweeping and broad is when they get to the First Amendment and free speech. Then they adopt a narrow interpretation. They suggest that Trump doesn't have free speech protections. But in order to establish that he committed or was engaged in insurrection, they go back to speeches in 2016. And they basically daisy chain these speeches to say, look, he's been at this for a long time. I think that the factual and legal
whoa.
opinion,
I missed that part. I guess I'll have to go back and read it. They took a bunch of his old speeches too and complained about fight. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on just 1 second here. Let's find this now, because this is one of my favorite clips. Let's see. Let me just show you this. Democrats using the word. There it is. It's one of the first things I have pulled up. Here it is. Here's from the let's see. Here, let's do this one. Here it is. What the hell is that? No. Let's start that.
Blindly.
Let's try that again. Here we go.
You see speech such as this. You have to apply the First Amendment evenly. Blindly. She is blind, Lady Justice.
And you have to get your people to fight. And if they don't fight, we have to primary the hell out of the ones that don't fight. But you know, it used to be that they'd argue with me, I'd fight. So I'd fight, they'd fight, I'd fight, they'd fight, boop, boop. You'd believe me, you'd believe them. Somebody comes out, you know, they had their point of view, I had my point of view. But I said, something's wrong here, something's really wrong. Can't have happened. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
These are the metaphorical, rhetorical uses of the word fight. We all know that, right?
They all know that. They just are
Suddenly,
lying
the
about
word
it.
fight
They're
is
lying
off
their
limits.
asses off.
Spare us the hypocrisy and false indignation. It's a term used over and over and over again by
Uver? Is he from
politicians
Canada?
on both sides of
Uver?
the aisle.
Or is he from Minnesota?
And of
Uver?
course, the Democrat House managers know that the word fight has been used figuratively in political speech forever. But don't take it from me. It's best to listen to them.
We've got to keep fighting and keep focused.
We will fight when we must fight.
We've been fighting, so we need to fight, but we also need to fight.
It's always going to be an uphill fight.
This is going to be a fight.
We always must fight.
We're in the fight of our lives.
And we're going to be in for the fight of our lives.
This is the fight of our life.
The fight of their lives.
We are in this fight for our lives.
We cannot ever give up fighting.
Oh.
Hypocrisy.
All right, there you go. That's one of them. There's a whole bunch more. Did he do another one? I don't think he did another montage. There are multiple montages of them saying fight though. So FTG, even though it's not Thursday. So let's go back. We're done with Jonathan Turley though. All right, let's move on because there's a couple articles that I wanted to highlight today, and one of them was the secondary topic that I only have one article on, but I feel like maybe we need to send out a message to protect a certain judge. We're mad at the Colorado judges, but there's a certain judge that I'm much more concerned about. I'm very concerned because of the decision that came down, I think, over the last couple of days that we need to worry about. Because, it was yesterday, I think, that this news came out. Apparently, everyone's clamoring about Jeffrey Epstein's client list, right? And how nobody from that list has been prosecuted for the things that they may or may not have done on Epstein Island and other Epstein properties. Well, a judge who needs, please protect this judge at all costs. Over 170 individuals linked to deceased pedophile Jeffrey Epstein are likely to be named in unsealed court documents at the start of 2024, early next month in January. A judge ordered on Monday. Senior U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska for the Southern District of New York ruled Monday to have a trove of documents related to dozens of unnamed alleged Epstein associates unsealed in 14 days. Court documents show the anonymous individuals range from J. Doe 003 to 187 and appear to be friends, recruiters, and victims of the disgraced financier. So the court documents here, Preska's ruling is part of an alleged Epstein victim, Virginia Jeffries, defamation lawsuit against Epstein's longtime partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, appropriately named Ghislaine, who is currently in prison for conspiring with Epstein to abuse minors. Maxwell was sentenced in June 2022 to 20 years in prison for her role in a scheme to sexually exploit underage girls along Epstein for a decade. The courts now, quote, the court stays its order for 14 days to permit any impacted doe the opportunity to appeal, after which counsel are asked to prepare documents for unsealing pursuant to this order and to post the documents on the docket. The order concludes. Now my fear here, I guess I wouldn't say my fear. Here's what's going to happen. One of these does is probably going to appeal, but either that or they're going to flee the country. One of the two. Anyway, the Daily Mail first reported the judge's ruling. The unveiled documents are likely to become public on January 2nd, the day after the 14-day time period ending January 1st. High-profile individuals linked to Jeffrey Epstein include billionaire Microsoft mogul Bill Gates, billionaire LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, and former Obama Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers, private equity billionaire Leon Black, leftist intellectual Noam Chomsky, and famed director Woody Allen. Oh, good Lord! You know how Woody Allen is. He's like in Candyland on Jeffrey Epstein's island. The Wall Street Journal reported Epstein was charged in Manhattan federal court in 2019 for allegedly sex trafficking minors and conspiring to commit sex trafficking. The indictment leveled against Epstein alleged that between 2002 and 2005, he sexually abused dozens of underage victims by luring them into committing sex acts for money. His alleged crimes took place in multiple locations, including New York, New York, and Palm Beach, Florida, and on his own little private island. But I don't think you can charge him for there. Anyway, in the next month, Epstein was found dead of natural causes in his New York City jail. No, they said he hung himself. As he awaited trial on the sex trafficking charges, his death was officially ruled a suicide and not recorded by cameras, convenient, inside the jail facility. So anyway, we know all about Epstein. So anyway, again, protect Judge Loretta Preska. P-Dog, I never win the lottery when I guess that, but topics, oh baby, yeah. Oh wait, example how the left manipulate. Oh, that's a whole other thing. So anyway, how about that? Now, I'm curious. Will these be released without anyone filing an appeal? But I wonder if you file an appeal on something like this. Oh yeah, Alan Dershowitz too. Yeah, he was one. And of course, notice they didn't. It's weird they didn't mention Bill Clinton. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just didn't want to mention him. But I wonder, if you appeal something like this, wouldn't you have to do it publicly? Anybody know? Any legal experts in the chat? If you appeal this ruling to have these, because right now you're anonymous. Or maybe, I suppose your lawyers could appeal on behalf of Jane Doe or John Doe, 136. Maybe, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. All right, real quick. Let's get Gun Fox's article because I said I'd do it today and I'm going to. Let's do this one right now. Oh, no. Okay. By the way, I'm going to remind you, this is a good time to remind you, the Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. If you want to throw some fresh hell in front of me, drop a couple bucks in the tip jar and link the article. Otherwise, you could just tip me in because you're entertained. But also, another way to support the show is hit the Teespring link. It's in the, I don't know where it is on here. It's on here somewhere when you watch my show. It says store or some shit like that. If you go to that store, there's a line of clothing that is very related to what we're about to read. So you might, knowingly, the global warming ever since the Ice Age, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and stickers or some shit, and coffee cups. I'm gonna order a coffee cup because me and coffee cups. Okay, gird your loins. Gird your loins. Humans may be fueling global warming by breathing, a new study says. Humans may be fueling global warming by breathing, a new study suggests. Exhaled human breath can contain small, elevated concentrations of methane and nitrous oxide, both of which contribute to global warming, according to research released last week in the UK journal PLOS. This has got to be a spoof. The methane and nitrous oxide exhaled by humans make up about 0.1% of the UK's greenhouse gas emissions, the write-up said. The gases are in addition to the carbon dioxide that humans exhale. Oh my God. The study, led by Dr. Nicholas Cowan of the UK Centre for Ecology and Hydrology, involved 104 adult volunteers and found that nitrous oxide was breathed out by every one of them, while 31% exhaled methane. Those who did not exhale methane in their breath still probably released the gas inflatus, the study said, referring to burping and flatulence. The study led... Now, I'm gonna keep reading. Gunfox, I hate you right now. I hate you right now. The study led by Dr. Nicholas Cowan... I already said that. The study led by Dr. Nicholas Cowan from the UK Centre for Ecology and Hydrology involved 104 adults. Okay. We report only emissions in breath in this study, and flatus emissions are likely to increase these values significantly, though no literature characterizes these emissions for people in the UK, the research team wrote. So if you burp and fart, otherwise. Assuming that livestock and other wild animals also exhale emissions from nitrous dioxide, whatever, there are still maybe a small but significant unaccounted for source of N2O emissions in the UK, which could account for more than 1% of national scale emissions. Gas concentrations in the study samples allowed researchers to estimate that human breath accounts for 0.05% of the UK's methane emission and 0.1% of nitrous oxide. The study did not reveal a link between exhaled gases and diet. Yeah, because don't all the English people eat like baked beans for breakfast? So they probably got a little more methane coming out of them than the rest of us. Concentration enhancement of both CH4 and N2O in the breath of vegetarians and meat consumers are similar in magnitude, the researchers said. Based on these results, we can state that when estimating emissions from population within the UK, diet or future diet changes are unlikely to be important when estimating emissions across the UK as a whole. So, okay, there's only one solution to that. Everybody must die. That has to be the solution, because I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not everyone must die. Let me just back up. Not everyone must die. Just everyone has to stop breathing. Okay, stop breathing, stop farting, stop burping, and the planet will be saved. Yeah, so thanks, Gunfox. Love you, brother. Mean it. I mean it. Love you, mean it. Remember that? That used to be a saying in the 80s, right? Love you, mean it. Oh, boy. Remember, all these articles are going to be linked in the chat and also in the description on both Rumble and YouTube right after the show. Or, in fact, during the outro, I'll drop a link that has every one of these stories. I'll drop the link in the chat. It'll be there for your viewing pleasure, if you or just for your own lack of sanity. Now, a couple more articles, things that are happening in the world. This is interesting. A Florida woman has been charged for being inside the Capitol on January 6th. A Florida woman has been charged for being inside the Capitol on January 6th as President Joe Biden's administration continues in its attempt to punish protesters, while Democrats ironically deem former President Donald Trump the true dictator. The U.S. Attorney's Office for District of Columbia made the announcement on Monday, and it's charging Barbara Balmazeda, 23, with, quote, a felony offense of obstructing an official proceeding and misdemeanor offenses of entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building or grounds, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building or grounds, and parading, demonstrate, and picketing in a Capitol building. So they're throwing like 7 charges at her. The 23-year-old woman was arrested on the charges December 14th, according to the attorney's office. Balmazeda traveled to D.C. from Florida and exchanged messages in which she expressed her belief that the 2020 presidential election was stolen, a belief still held by countless Americans. The office alleges that Balmazeda was seen near a crowd of rioters who were climbing the scaffold. Okay, so she was seen near them. Big deal. The scaffolding on the west side of the Capitol, and was later present towards the front of the mob of rioters on the front of the Capitol grounds, eventually climbing over equipment to make her way closer to the Capitol's northwest stairs. Balmazeda and other individuals climbed to the top of the concrete stairs up this balustrade toward the upper west terrace of the Capitol, according to the office, which alleges she entered the Capitol building around 2:16 p.m. that day, 4 minutes after the initial breach. She eventually made her way to the rotunda and took photographs. The attorney's office proudly added that more than 1,230 individuals have been charged in the aftermath of the January 6th protest. The news comes after a federal judge, Tanya Chutkan, ruled to pause former President Donald's January 6th case as he appeals to have the case tossed, claiming to be covered by presidential immunity. So they are going, oh my God. So they're still going after him. They're still going after him. Some just being there. There's also an article here how Joe Biden recently gets the media to spread Nazi-style propaganda that Trump is Hitler. And if you've noticed that you've been hearing more comparisons lately, and this is just an editorial in The Federalist, Democrats and their friends in news media have temporarily moved from the tiresome Donald Trump is a threat to democracy storyline to the all-too-original Trump is Hitler. Making this effort particularly unique, they're so open about the coordination. The media are usually at least partially discreet about deceiving, lying, and manipulating, but for reasons unclear, they're all perfectly fine with the episode being a transparent conspiracy between the White House and the Washington press. The big reveal came Tuesday in a political article headline, quote, "Why Biden's campaign keeps linking Trump to Hitler," end quote. The story stated in earnest that Biden's campaign has entered a surreal routine of calling Donald Trump out for deploying rhetoric that historians say reek of fascism. By historians, political naturally means White House-approved experts who will dutifully repeat that Trump is Hitler. Sure enough, the story went on to assert that historians say that Trump's recent comments about immigrants, as well as those liking his political foes to vermin, have echoed Hitler's words. So basically, they're on a coordinated blitz, great choice of words, to call Trump Hitler. Aren't they special? In Breitbart. And also, here's the other thing. Jen Psaki says Trump, and here's a case in hand. Here's an example of it. Jen Psaki, the former White House press secretary, as opposed to a warm drink from Japan, says voters are more likely to support him after echoing Hitler because there's a market for tyranny. And you have a Democratic regime taking him off the ballot in states, trying to jail him, 91 indictments, and you have the nerve to even say the word tyranny? Good God, woman. MSNBC host Jen Psaki said Monday on her show Inside that, oh my God, I don't want to think about being inside Jen Psaki, that former President Donald Trump's supporters are more likely to support him after he was echoing Hitler. Psaki said this weekend Trump once again echoed dictators, praised autocrats, repeated racist language, and was still cheered on by arenas packed with people who will cast their ballots in just over a month. Now remember, Trump is polling about 20% with black people, so apparently the racist is getting some traction with brothers and sisters. Then is still cheered on by arenas packed with people who will cast their vote or ballots in just over 1 month. During that speech on Saturday in New Hampshire, Trump once again said immigrants are, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, end quote. Now that's clearly inflammatory. It's dehumanizing. It's white supremacist in our in rhetoric, as well. And as we mentioned on the show last time, Trump said this it very clearly echoes the words of Hitler. That's what they're screaming now. She continued, if Trump wins in 2024, his detractors will have to reconcile what it means to share a country with so many citizens who keep watching Trump spiral deeper into his moral void and still conclude, yes, he's our guy. This isn't just anecdotal. It's also registering the polls. According to a new survey of likely Republican caucus goers in Iowa, 42% say they're more likely to support Trump for claiming immigrants are poisoning the blood of America. Okay. These people, okay, this is what she's saying. 43% are more likely to support him for saying his enemies need to be rooted out like vermin. 50% say they're more likely to vote for Trump because of his promise of sweeping raids, giant camps, and mass deportations of immigration. The more likely to vote for him. That sentence is out there in the middle of nowhere. So again, echoing Hitler, backing up racist talk with racist plans, sorry, that is making large swaths of Iowa Republicans more likely to vote for him, according to these polls. And then she claimed he's dipping into vile, violent language and more with dictatorial speech. An Authorian Truth Social post here. He is trying to normalize extreme fascist rhetoric to condition his supporters to be okay with it. Seems to be working. Okay. Jen, shut the fuck up. In the immortal words of Vivek Ramaswamy, shut the fuck up. New York Post. There's a new reparations commission in the state of New York. Yeah. Hochul's new reparation commission is a divisive lefty pipe dream. Standing beside Governor Hochul for a bill signing Wednesday were Carl Heastie, Speaker of the State Assembly, Andrea Stewart Cousins, Leader of the State Senate, the key state Senator James Sanders, prominent Assemblywoman Michelle Solages, and longtime political kingmaker Reverend Al Sharpton. In short, the most powerful people in the state, all of them black. There to watch the governor sign a bill to study how disenfranchised black people are in New York. Okay, the juxtaposition of the statement to the picture to sign a bill to study how disenfranchised black people are in New York. All black people there for the signing. And they also have a black mayor in New York City. Showing that Democrats never learn from their mistakes, Hochul is following the foolish footsteps of California by setting up a reparations committee that is bound to infuriate everyone. New York passed a law in 1817 to abolish slavery. Over the years, it has tried to rectify past racial discrimination with affirmative action and minority loans and grants for small businesses, among countless other programs. Yet this committee is bound to come up with some astronomical number to compensate for historical racism, which would infuriate white residents who don't agree with collective punishment for actions they were not a part of, not to mention other ethnic groups that have their own grievances. And then, just as California, the governor will be forced to admit that New York cannot afford to spend billions in reparations. Oh no, all they have to do is deport all the illegal migrants in New York, and then they can use that money for reparations, right? Good God. It's the carrot again. Yes, it is amazing disgrace. It's the carrot. It's the carrot, and they'll, like Lyndon Johnson said, he'll have us all voting Democrat for 40 years. There was, I guess, the IDF and over in Israel, they found a huge Hamas tunnel, and apparently some people saying that it is CNN called it an alleged tunnel. And so there's an article about Gary Kasparov blasting CNN for that. I'm going to skip it, but it's in the articles. In the national, this is National Pulse. Yes. The New York Times had an editorial where they said the quiet part out loud that defeating Trump is just the start. A new column in the New York Times admits that defeating Donald Trump is the first step in a Democratic Party effort to undermine government institutions, serving as bulwarks against radical progressivism, submitting the country to majoritarian democracy instead. The admission is a direct acceptance of Trump's longstanding campaign phrase, "They're not just coming after me, they're coming after you, and I'm just standing in the way." The American political system, as we've written before many times, is riddled with veto points and counter-majoritarian rules that can stymie even the largest legislative majorities, argues progressive columnist Jamel Bowie in the Times. He adds, one of the key institutions of American government, the Supreme Court, is not only empowered to strike down congressional legislation, but can, if the circumstances are right, limit or even eliminate the constitutional protections of cherished rights. No, they can't. They don't, though. The writer went on to revive a favorite left-wing conspiracy, claiming the 2000 presidential election was stolen from Al Gore by the U.S. Supreme Court. How about you? Still questioning elections, but don't question 2016 though, or 2020 though. For Bowie, the 2024 presidential election is much more than Donald Trump. He and other political progressives see it as a watershed moment where their allies in Congress and the White House could have the opportunity to radically transform American public life. Really? Like Barack Obama said? Moving away from a Republican form of government to direct majoritarian democracy would ensure the domination of radical gender ideology, abortion access, unfettered mass immigration, and race-based preferences and quotas. This is just talking about a Democrat wanting to have everyone do Democrat things. So there's more. You can read it on your own. The other articles I have, apparently Andrew Cuomo is thinking about making a comeback. Yep. They don't go away for long. And then in the Federalist, there's this article how left-wing appeals panel is rigging Trump's J6 case through a bogus fast-track process. And that's in Tanya Chutkan's court, where she's done everything in her power to speed up the process for one of the complicated cases Democrats have filed against former President Donald Trump, which is whereas the standard federal fraud and conspiracy case takes about 2 years to get to trial, the controversial special counsel Jack Smith and Chutkan have worked in concert to get the trial started in March, a breathtaking 7 months after Trump's indictment. So they're suddenly concerned about speedy trials when it comes to Trump. Okay. And I think that's the last one. That's all I'm going to do today. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to call it a day because, it's that time. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 7 o'clock West Coast. All you mountain people, figure it out. Thanks for joining me today. Hit the like button, share the stream. If you haven't donated to the show in ever, try it sometime. It'd be great. But no, I'm just kidding. Thanks to the people who sponsor the show. Gunfox61, superstar sponsor of the day. We got, and also some people I missed from yesterday. I got Zed the Snarky and JB with the big 20 Canadian. Thank you again from yesterday too. But today's superstar sponsor of the day, superstar sponsor of the gay. I'm not gay. is Gunfox61. Okay, I gotta go. Thanks, everybody. My name is P. Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. I'll put the links in the chat right now. Hey, this is P. Dawg Knight, and thanks for watching today on the P. Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P. Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.